All right, Matt, back with another episode here. We got mostly basketball. This is a rare one, no football on this one, so not gonna talk
It's a
any
quiet
football.
week.
It's been a boring week. We're still waiting for Lamar and Rogers to. Well, Rogers is more seems more inevitable. We have no idea what's gonna happen with Lamar, but we'll update that one as it goes. But let's focus on the college basketball Final Four and championships, both men's and women's. So we'll start with the men's since the men's uh championship game was today. We'll kick it off with the Final Four though. So I guess we'll start with the game that wasn't as exciting, which would be the UConn and Miami game. And I mean, we'll get to it, but UConn just dominated Miami like they had every other team that they played the whole tournament. I mean, it wasn't even they were beating teams by like 15 plus points each,
Every
like
game was double
minimum, right?
digits. Yeah.
Yeah. And so with like you really put that into perspective what that means, right? Because this tournament was so crazy. We're seeing one seeds go down in the first round, all these close games, had a buzzer beater in the other one. And here's UConn. Every single team they played, domination. So, just a credit to them. But before we get to the championship game, we have to talk about the FAU and San Diego State game, which was probably one of if not the most exciting game of the tournament. Um, it was a close one the whole time. FAU, the Cinderella story, 9 seed, pretty high seed getting to the final four. Anything I feel like out of the top eight is pretty good for a nice little Cinderella story there. But so close. And they were up too, right, Matt? They were up
Up by
majority,
14 in the second half.
up for a majority of the game. But that's why you play out the whole game. You don't just quit at halftime. So props to San Diego State. And I want to get his name right. Was it Butler?
Lamont Butler,
Amon
the
Butler.
hero.
Yeah. So he hits the game winning shot, almost goes out of bounds, right? But he had like he had perfect jump shot for him too, like on his game winner. He got so high and like just perfect form, drained it at the buzzer, crushed the spirits of the fans of FAU, of course. But it was a great game nonetheless. But I think you wanted to talk a little bit about that last play, right, Matt? So the age old question almost, do you call a timeout? And credit to San Diego State's head coach there. Was it Brian Dutcher? Brian
hmm
Dutcher. Credit to him, trusted in his guys, didn't let the FAU defense get a set in, and his players made the play and hit the shot when it counted. So it was a good game. It was, I mean, really both teams, a 9 and a 5 seed. Both were good stories, I would say, relatively. Not one of the powerhouses necessarily. So it was gonna be good to see either one of those guys come out. But there could only be one winner. And yeah, it was San Diego State and then. But did you want to say anything about that game, Matt?
Yeah, I think, well, the main focus of this game was the last 7 seconds of the game. And I think this is something that coaches should really just watch. And I think what Brian Dutcher spoke about too in the post game was really eye-opening to me. But I think it was obviously a great decision, looking back on it to not call the timeout, let everything play out. But it was the right decision. And I say it's the right decision because FAU misses the free throw. So it's not like, oh, they made the free throw, you got to inbound the ball and you got to get set. That's the kind of time, maybe let's call a timeout, try to get a guy open on the move to the basket. That's the right play to call a timeout. But on a missed free throw, um, FAU, they're scrambling. They're scrambling, just trying to pick up a guy. 7 seconds. It's just, who's going to make the better play. And to me, I like my odds off a missed free throw to just let my guys go. And I think too many times, and I know one coach that does this all the time, plays coaches for our team, our home team, the Rainbow Warriors, for example, is a guy who's gonna, oh, okay, let's say for example, we're playing Long Beach, they miss the free throw, Javon gets the rebound, he's gonna run to the corner and call timeout. And we're down by one or two. No, like in that situation, I want my guys scrambling because now if you call a timeout, the other team's gonna get set. And I like to use athleticism in this case. So Lamont Butler, I mean, credit to him. I don't know if it was his mindset of I'm just gonna take this game over, or he literally just like blacked out and just said, I'm not passing this ball to anybody. This is my moment. I'm gonna take the shot. And credit to him because he almost stepped out of bounds. I don't know how he didn't, but he shot that, like you mentioned it. That jumper was pure. And
Sure.
as soon as he released it, I was like, oh, this is going in. It looks straight with the way that the camera was set up. You could see the trajectory of the shot. So I was like, okay, this is right on line. It's either going to be short, long, or it's going to go right through. And sure enough, he made the shot. So credit to Brian Dutcher. He even said in the post game too, back to what I said was, he had no plays. He had no play to think of. So it's like, why are you gonna overcomplicate things? Let your guys do the work. This is their moment. Let them have the spotlight. So credit to Brian Dutcher. I think he's one of my favorite coaches in in the NCAA, coming from that Steve Fisher tree. And those two guys go way back. They were the coaches of the Fab Five at Michigan, so they know how to coach good players, know how to lead championship teams. So yeah, that was just a great, great decision by Brian Dutcher to me. But I also want to give props to FAU. I don't think everyone gave them any respect that they deserve. I think they were 31-3 going into the tournament. So that's not a typical 9 seed to me.
Mm.
So I think they definitely put themselves on the map. And it sounds like they're going to be returning a lot of their main guys next year. So I would think, looking down the road way too early, they got to be a top 20 team preseason. So I think, you know, kind of like that UCLA vibe 2 years ago when they return everyone, they're going to try to make that push again. So they're going to be dangerous. So a hell of a season for them. Obviously, San Diego State as well. But we can talk about the championship now
Yeah,
because
yeah. Let's
that was
let's
that was only the final four.
yeah, yeah. Let's talk about that championship game. I didn't watch it, Matt, so you got to do most of the talking. But I can see the box score, and I can see that UConn once again dominated the team that they played. Always tough, San Diego State coming off an emotional win. I feel like it's so hard to have a quick turnaround like that and kind of refocus your mental because all the emotions, right, that you're feeling, but you still gotta play one more game. And unfortunately, that was the buzzsaw. That was the UConn Huskies, Matt. So why don't you kind of give us a little bit of a breakdown what happened in today's game?
Well, I think to kind of summarize it, it was kind of the same summary for UConn for the past how many tournament games did they play? I would say six. So just pure balance to me was this is really about UConn's balance to me. And kind of started off, slow. San Diego State kind of threw the first punch. Bradley got going inside, making some moves for them, but kind of everything kind of settled down for UConn when Sonogo, the center, the most outstanding player for this year's Final Four, he's a beast. He's a legit force in the paint, and he kind of started going early. He finished with a double double, 17 and 10. But once he started going, they started playing inside out. And UConn, I didn't really watch them at all until maybe the Elite Eight when they played Gonzaga. But man, they got shooters. They got some shooters on the floor. Um, Caravan, he's their four. He's literally a stretch four. So that's a shooter right there. And then their two guards, Tristan Newton, kind of that, big, kind of reminds me of Cam Reddish from Duke a little bit, kind of plays like that. But he's a solid catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Jordan Hawkins, another kind of smaller guard on the team, but he's the kind of tough shot maker. He was making some tough fadeaway threes, pulling up on the move in the mid range, just a balance attack. And then off the bench, Calcaterra, he's their sniper, kind of that Kyle Korver s shooter, but he can put the ball on the floor and get to the basket as well. So it's just a swarm coming at you with UConn, and when they get hot, you can't stop them. And the thing with San Diego State in this game is, they ended up coming back later in the game, ended up cutting the game down to 5 at one point, but that's kind of been their theme, right? They're falling behind, they come back. Last game they played FAU, they were able to come back, but when you're playing a more talented team, you can't be doing that, especially in the national championship. You got to stay within a puncher's, striking distance. And San Diego State was just always, 15, 10 points away. And, you know, there was no pressure to me that UConn had to face in this game. And I think there was a stat that said San Diego State, there was 4 droughts that they had where they didn't make a field goal for 3 minutes plus, 4 times in a game. And I think there was one, their largest was maybe close to 10 minutes. So you cannot be having those long droughts in big games against a team that to me is more talented than you. Like, you cut 2 out of those long droughts out, we might be having a different story. So just having that balance, UConn, I think it was credit to them. The size inside with Sonogo and then their backup center, Klingon. I think he's a 7-footer coming off the bench. So you got size, athletic wing players for UConn just swarming defensively. So I think to me, that's the story of the game. The droughts caused by the UConn size in the paint. And they were forcing everything outside for San Diego State, making them take tough shots. But they were just a better team. UConn is just the better team. I think I said last week, right? UConn was going to win. So at least I got something right this Final Four. But yeah, this was the UConn Invitational this year. No debate whatsoever.
Yep. So congrats to UConn. A lot of people are saying this might be a potential dynasty in college basketball. It might be pretty interesting to see. They're definitely trending in the right direction. I'll just say I'm hesitant to ever name another college basketball dynasty because of, well, first of all, like we saw this year, talent can will only mean so much up to a certain point. And when it gets to March, crazy things happen. So the I feel like it to win a national championship in college basketball now, it's literally the perfect storm. You need to have your guys healthy. You need to always, you know, play a team that you can handle kind of defensively, and you got to make your shots. You can't really go cold, and it doesn't feel like UConn ever, took their foot off the gas for a second there. So it seemed almost like a perfect storm. But, I will say, I think that coaching now more than ever will matter in for college basketball and returning players, like you kind of alluded to,
Exactly.
because the one and duns now, like if we're being honest, if you're a potential NBA talent, right, and you can go one and done, yes, it's great, and you probably do want to play, for your team, you want to win for your guys, but you have a future, and I don't know, I feel like it's kind of hard to really focus, on developing the team more than kind of showing what you got. out there when you know you're a potential first, second round pick in the draft. So it's really comes down to those core 4 year, 3+ year guys, even that I think are it's gonna start those teams will start to slowly come back and dominate college basketball again, unlike kind of the one and dones that we've been seeing. So congrats to UConn, very well deserved. And yeah, I would imagine they're one of the favorites to repeat next year. So we'll
I would
we'll
think
have to
so.
see. We'll have to see about that, see how it goes. But we have a long way to go until the next one. But we are not skipping over the women's this year, Matt, because I mean, first I just want to say congrats to LSU. It was they had a great run. We can say the Hawaii
Hawaii lost
women's
to the
we
champs.
lost to the champs and we played them tough. I don't think anyone expected us to play LSU that tough in Baton Rouge, right? Death Valley. So, congrats to LSU. They kind of, it was a solid victory over Iowa, but we'll get to some of the storylines first. Um, to get there, Iowa, I thought, had the most, one of the more impressive games of the tournament, beating South Carolina, who was the huge favorites to win it all. I mean, what was their? They had some ridiculous win streak going on. They hadn't lost a game.
36
36, I
games, something like
believe,
that.
a 36-game win streak. Solid returning players. Obviously, Don Staley, one of the best coaches in basketball, right? So for Caitlin Clark to detonate, 41 points in back-to-back games, one of them 40-point triple double. Are you kidding me? And she is really, I think, going to revolutionize the game for women, and it's really exciting to see. But you know, just going to that South Carolina game, I thought that's where the Cinderella story of Caitlin Clark would end. Kind of like how Steph Curry with Davidson, right? Eventually, he kind of ran out of steam. I was like, okay, 41-point triple double. Oh, you're going against South Carolina now, who's been there, done that. Solid team all around. I think this is it. And then she goes out and does that. And it's not just like she's hitting open shots. Like she's creating for herself off the pick and roll, step back, pull up, crossover from 30 plus. Like who I don't think I can name
Insane.
a single other women's basketball player that I've seen. Like that's even including like Tarasi, right? Who's probably one of the better guard scorers in WNBA
Rossi,
history.
Maya Moore.
Maya Moore, but Maya Moore was just so athletic too. She was kind of like the all around. To me, Maya Moore is like one of the goats. While she was playing, just all around. But even like oh, I'm blanking on her name right now.
Is Sabrina, the
Not
duck.
Sabrina.
Oh no.
The other, what's her name? That was in. She also went to UConn.
Brianna Stewart.
Brianna Stewart, yeah. Okay, even Brianna Stewart, as good as she is, as good of a shooter she is, like I haven't seen anyone do what Caitlin Clark's doing. She literally reminds me of like the Steph Curry. She's gonna be the Steph of the WNBA when she gets there. And it's gonna be I thought it was gonna be, oh my god, why am I blanking on all these players' names? Becker's. Thought it was gonna be Paige. But nah, Caitlin Clark, she just has something else to her. So, props to them for getting there. Then on the flip side, LSU as well. They were kind of bullying everyone that they ran into. So it was going to be a great matchup there. And, just I didn't watch a ton of the game, but just kind of looking at the, box score, it's kind of a Caitlin Clark show, one man army versus a lot of really solid players. They had bench players stepping up for them. I think one of their players went 5 for 6 off the bench. She had 22 points. Jasmine Carson, 22 points. I saw a stat she had like 11 points combined in her the previous, tourney games combined. So, when players step up like that, three players in, 20 points, Angel Reese double double. It's hard to beat a team when, you get out rebounded by 11 and you turn the ball over more than them. So it's gonna happen. I also heard there was a lot of complaints about the officiating. I mean, I wasn't really watching it, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I can get why, it can be frustrating because I was watching the Iowa and South Carolina game, and that one was just whistles, down the stretch. It was like a minute and a half left to go in the game. It felt like it took 10 minutes for the game to end because of all the fouls that I'm like, I'm looking at the replays. I'm like, the refs are really calling fouls on this. They're calling a tech on Caitlin Clark for passing the ball out of bounds behind her back. Like, uh, I don't know. I don't really get it.
That's a ticky tack foul right
Ticky
there.
tack, and then on the flip side, Kim Malarkey is like screaming and pushing the ref. Maybe that's one of the goat privileges you have. You can get a little right, like too excited,
Probably.
get away with those calls. But yeah, props to LSU for winning. But I mean, everyone's talking about this after game stuff, and I guess we should talk about it. But I don't know. I'm not freaking out about like either side really. Okay, so the story for those of you that don't know, right, is Angel Reese pretty much as the game was wrapped up, right? She's like going up to Caitlin Clark, doing the John Cena "You can't see me" because Caitlin Clark had done that, in previous games. She's doing that right, like walking up to her, right in her face. She's saying, "Ring me, ring me." Um, I mean, like, okay, they're first of all, they're in college, right? They're not professionals. They're still kids. I mean, not okay. They're not kids, but
They're
they're
young
young.
adults.
They're young
Young
adults.
adults.
Young adults, and when you're the emotions are flowing. She had always Angel Reese has been a trash talker the whole like her whole career. She's been doing this, so it's not surprising to me. It's kind of like if Pat Beverly ever won a ring. Oh my god, if right, like
That
could you
was a good
imagine the type of antics he'd be pulling? Do you remember when they made the play-in tournament on the Timberwolves and he was crying?
one.
Like he's throwing his jersey into the crowd.
He
He's
did the D
crying.
Wade step on the
D
table
Wade
thing.
step on the table, and inside the NBA guys are clowning him, right? Like, oh my god, you want to play in tourney? But that's the type of person he is. He gets very excited, talks a lot of trash, obviously. So this is to me like, okay, like going up into Caitlin Clark's face, was that necessary? Maybe not. But when you're that amped up, and you're already known as kind of she talks her talk and she backs it up. I mean, 34 double doubles. I think that was the record for um NCAA women's. So I don't get all the hate towards her. Yeah, okay. If you want to say she could have been more humble, obviously she could have been more humble. Um, and on the flip side, everyone's saying, "Oh, well, Caitlin Clark deserved it because she's doing it." Like Caitlin Clark was doing it like to her teammates, like walking to the bench. Like that's a celebration you can do. I don't know if they were more offended by like the hand wave that she gave to the South Carolina guard at the same time. Yeah, that was pretty disrespectful too, but I mean, it's kind of those gamesmanship tactics too, right? Like MJ would do it all the time. Um, for example, I know like the Muggsy Bogues story where he like told Muggsy Bogues like shoot it, you little midget or something, and it like destroyed Muggsy's shot. So there's like it's like gamesmanship too, getting in the head. Um, I don't know. I think everyone's freaking out about these two girls. Props to Caitlin Clark because I think she's going to revolutionize the game. Props to Angel Reese. She's the champ. She can talk her talk. Like, do we really need to make this a race thing too? Like, I why can't we just let them enjoy the victory? Let Caitlyn Clark thrive. I don't I don't know, Matt. What do you think about everything?
I think you hit it right on the nose. But I'll say for the whole Angel Reese taunting situation, if I was her, I got no problem with her, doing this, doing this. The only thing that was a little out of line was the fact that it was at the end of the game and she walked towards Caitlin Clark
Yeah,
and,
like the
did it in her
specific call
face.
out, that was
Yeah.
for
I
me,
think that's a stretch.
that's
That's
a
a
little too
stretch to
much for
me.
me. But I'm not gonna go and say like people are calling her like disgust like like trashless or like disrespectful. I'm like, dude, chill. Like, okay, yeah, it was it probably a little bit too much. You probably didn't like it. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna go calling her all these like hurtful names and like doing all this other stuff. Come on, like I think she's 20 years old. Like she just won the biggest game of her life. She's, if you're already kind of a notorious trash talker, you lean more into, So yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah. But, everything else, I got no problem with it. I think when I initially saw it, I was like, wait, like, whoa, that's a little uncalled for. But, after kind of just thinking about it, thinking of the situation, the emotions, putting myself in the shoes of the girls that were winning. Yeah, I think, if I won a national championship, I'd probably do some kind of, that or ring me,
I
right?
do that for
In the heat of the
sure.
moment. Yeah, like it's the heat of the moment. Probably wouldn't have approached a player and did it in their face, but maybe to the bench. Yeah, maybe to the bench, the coach, maybe, but from a distance. I wouldn't really approach a specific player and rub it in. But other than that, I got no problem with Angel Reese. I thought, you know, she's talking trash, but she's backing it up. So it's like we
Hmm.
can say all these nasty things about her, but her play is doing the talking. It's not what she did to Caitlin Clark post game or 10 seconds in the game. She did her talking throughout the whole season, and she was the anchor of the LSU team. And she earned the right to express herself in that way. But from Caitlin Clark's perspective, her too. Right? She's the best player in college basketball. I think we can say that. So
Hmm.
again, she's backed it up. She's literally a one girl team, I
She
would
took
say.
22 shots.
She's yeah, but it's like she can do whatever she wants. She's the king. She's the LeBron of the, college basketball world for the women's league right now. So I got no problem with her talking trash. That's part of sports to me. And that's what makes it fun. And look at all the ratings that they
10,
drew, right?
they
That's
averaged
right.
almost 10 million
That's
viewers.
the
That's so great.
ratings.
That's
That's
so
great
great for
for
the game.
the
That is,
women's game.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So I don't know. Maybe it was scripted. Do you think they did that?
I could see it.
Maybe they said, "Hey, if whoever wins, we do." I don't
We
know.
let all the trash talk come out. I mean,
Yeah,
it
it's
is good for
fun.
rating. It's going to be good for ratings next year when when we see these teams
They're
playing
both
again.
coming back, I think.
Hmm. And so, that's going to just make it more fun for women's college basketball in the regular season next year. Yeah, okay. Everyone, you can take your side. Oh, it was too much, or no, she was justified. Okay, you know, but like we really got to start hurling insults. That's the thing. Like, come on, man. Like they're 20, 21, 22 years old. They're still young. They're trying to express themselves how they know how. Like, there's no need for all the. So I'm glad like people are coming to defend like both, whatever side you want, but we don't really need all the negativity, guys. Come on. It's good. This is great for the game of women's basketball. And let's accept that and move on. Congrats to LSU. They're the champs. Okay, so uh let's talk a little bit of basketball. I think we can talk a little bit. We'll see how long it goes. Maybe we'll take a break in the middle. But talk some NBA basketball now. Start off in the West because the East is, you know, five teams already decided in the playoffs. Not as much drama as the West. So we still got
No.
a lot of drama in the Western Conference. Now, the 5 through 10 seeds separated by only 5.5 games with a week left. And really, the drama has been fueled by my Lakers because Anthony Davis is playing like Anthony Davis can, like
For
you
now.
alluded to.
For
Okay,
now.
for now, true, for now. But like you alluded to, Matt, he was gonna have to be the guy. LeBron has since come back, but it's still good to see Anthony Davis not backing off, taking plays off, taking games off, right? He has been dominating over this stretch that they are currently on. 7-3 in their last 10 games, I believe 6-1 in their last seven. So they're playing good basketball, good solid basketball right now. The role players seem to be finding a groove with LeBron back. LeBron's kind of taking his foot off the scoring pedal a little bit. He doesn't really have to, but 18 points, triple double.
Triple double.
We had Rui. It was the Rui game this past one in Houston. Austin Reeves is still contributing 15 plus points a night off the bench or in the starting lineup wherever he has to be. I think he's going to start though the rest of the year. I would like to see him start. I would like to see him run the second unit though, just personally. But um, yeah, I think the Lakers, they're getting kind of scary. I think teams are gonna be afraid to face a LeBron James and motivated Anthony Davis in the playoffs. That's the key. Healthy and motivated. If we get that AD, knock on wood, that is, I truly think we can beat anyone in the Western Conference. So with those two guys playing like how they can, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, we still got some business to finish up first. I don't know, Matt. I think we can make the 6th seed. I'm gonna have some hope. We're gonna need a little bit of luck, but we have been getting nothing but lucky. Quite honestly, I think we've been having a lot of the teams we need to lose. That's why we have the 7th seed as well right now. Even if we are the 7th seed, 7 or 8 seed, I don't think it's gonna matter too much because I think if we're the 7 or 8 seed, we are winning that first game no matter what. I don't care who we play it in that playing game. We're probably gonna end up winning. I think, even if we're the 7th seed, we play Memphis. Those kids don't know what it's like to play a 7 game series against LeBron. So that's all I'll say about my Lakers. I think we have a good chance to make it in. And if we get that 6th seed, that's kind of the juicy one I'm eyeing out. I'm not disrespecting the Kings at all because they are a really, they've proven to be a solid team. Offensively, they're the best team in the league. But I still do believe that experience matters in the playoffs. Mike Brown, I know he's been there, done that. He's been around the league a long time. But the players, Sabonis, has he ever really been in a real tough 7 game series? De'Aaron Fox, obviously, I believe this will be his first time in the playoffs, right? Since he's been in the league. They have some veteran guys that have been there, but this Lakers team has experience, has the leadership of a LeBron James, and I think that's going to make the difference if we do get that 6th seed. If we do get that 6th seed, but regardless, I'm looking forward to the Lakers. Um, yeah, I don't know, Matt. I think this is the start of the run.
I think, well, I'll say it from an unbiased perspective. So I hate to admit it, but I think you guys are looking pretty good.
Hmm.
So the way that I see it is, okay, you guys are the 7. You guys shouldn't be lower than 8.
No,
That's my thing.
I don't
Shouldn't
think we
drop
will.
any lower than 8. But I think with the way that you guys' schedule is played out, the big game, if you take care of business, I think they have one more game, but they play the Clippers on Wednesday or Thursday, right?
Yeah,
This week.
yeah, they play the
One of those days.
Clippers.
But that's the game, right?
Yeah,
Russ
on
versus the
Wednesday.
Lakers, but half a game back. Now with the Warriors, they can't win on the road for some reason. I don't know what it is, but their closing schedule, they got I think 2 out of 3 on the road. So you think they might lose one or both of those games? Probably. So now I'm looking like, okay, the Clippers. You beat the Clippers, you're gonna overtake them because you're only half a game back. So you easily could get the 5 seed if you win out. And I think you guys have a legit chance to win out. Because other than the Clippers, I don't think there's a real legit threat to beat you if everybody's healthy and you guys play
Especially
how you guys are supposed to.
If Phoenix already clinches by the time
Mm-hmm.
we play them on Friday.
Exactly.
Like,
I think they're kind of locked in the 4 seed.
are they really gonna want to play, risk playing KD, risk playing Booker against some hungry, motivated LeBron James? Yeah, it might
And
be a
the
good practice run, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
and they might sit. And I think if they do, I think they got the 4 seed. That's pretty safe to say. But in the case that let's say the Lakers are trying to get the 5 seed and the Suns are the 4, so that would be their matchup in the first round. I don't think there's no way the Suns are gonna show KD, Booker, CP3, any of those guys at all. They're not gonna see the floor. You're gonna get the second unit guys and just whatever. You're not gonna see the real Suns team. So yeah, that's I mean, if you're the Lakers, great. We'll take the win. But yeah, I like the idea of the Lakers jumping potentially to the 5, but I think they avoid the play-in if they take care of business.
I
And
think we can too. We get
if
that
they
six.
play the Kings, that is like you're licking your chops as a Lakers fan because you got LeBron. I never bet against LeBron. He'll at least get you to the finals. That seems to be his thing in his prime. So but again, AD is the key. AD is always going to be the key with this team. He's been playing well, so just knock on wood, pray that nothing crazy happens. I know he
I
tweaked his
know.
ankle
Let's.
last game, but credit to him, he continued to play, dogged it out, and got the win for the team. But that's a little scary. But that other than injuries, I think that's the only thing that's stopping the Lakers for me. And I don't know, maybe next week, 2 weeks from now, when the playoffs starts, get Logan back on the pod. I might have to change my pick in the West, especially because the Lakers are looking pretty good.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think this might be it. And let's be honest, we don't want to see a LeBron KD matchup in the first round of the
No,
playoffs.
no.
We don't want to see that. Come on. So Adam has the script written already. They're not gonna play each other at the 5. So I don't even want the 5 seed. Let's get that 6 seed. Let's play Sacramento. I still think it's going to be a good series. I'm not saying
Oh
they're
yeah,
going to be a cakewalk at all. All the respect to the Kings and what they've done this year, like the beam and everything. It's great, but you got to play King James and the Brow. I hope he's the Brow in the playoffs. I hope it's that Anthony
it's the New
Davis.
Orleans Anthony
Mm-hmm.
Davis.
That's the one that I want out there on the floor. We get those two guys with how everyone else is playing right now. I like our chances. I really do. Um, okay. Well, let's go get to a quick break here, Matt. We'll finish up talking about the Western Conference, get a little bit on the Eastern Conference, and then we'll get to some baseball talk. So we'll take a break really fast, and we'll be right back. Okay, Matt, let's get back into it. So, sticking on the Western Conference, unfortunately, it's official. The Blazers are out. Not a shocker with how they played down the stretch. They didn't play well enough. The team just hasn't been working out. I got a question for you though, Matt. Chauncey Billups, his first year as a head coach. A lot of these Blazers fans are already calling for him. Get Chauncey out of there. He doesn't know what he's doing. Oh my god. I mean, I think it's always hard for a first year head coach to like you gotta give him a little bit of slack. You know,
Yeah,
uh, 2 years if you want to start, calling for his head. Okay, first year, it was the toughest Western Conference we've seen in a long time. Like super competitive, top to bottom. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. I don't know how much he had to do with the trades and all that stuff. Obviously, the injuries kind of hurt their team a lot this year, right? So let's pump the brakes on the Chauncey getting fired stuff. Maybe he's on the hot seat next year. Okay, I'm perfectly fine with that. But well, fired after 1 year. All right, let's calm down, everyone. Um, Unfortunately, though, the Blazers they are now out. We will get to more of their offseason stuff after the finals, but I don't know, Matt. Just a quick review here. What do you think? What's got to happen? We got to add guys. Who do we got to keep? What do you think?
Well, let me answer your question about Chauncey first, and then I'll answer the additions. As far as Chauncey, I think it's a little too soon to call for his job. And the reason why I say that is you brought this up and you mentioned injuries. First year, last year, I think everyone can say that's a wash. I don't know how any coach is going to win with the team that they had last year. No Jeremy Grant. Dame was basically taking the year off, with the injury. So, what are you going to do without your franchise player? Nothing. Try to develop young guys. And hey, he kind of developed Ant on a bright side. So, yeah, that's kind of a wash to me. So to me, this was kind of his first year with a semi-productive full roster. Still got hit by the injury bug. Dame, still getting hurt from time to time. Ant got hurt. Jeremy Grant got hurt. Yusuf Nurkic was out for a while. So your top four players are all consistently hurt. For any coach, that's going to be a pretty tall task to overcome. So I don't think it's fair to call for his job yet because I want to see him coach a semi-healthy team. Guys are gonna go in and out of the lineup for the most part. But if everyone gets a day or two off, misses maybe 10 or less games a year, yeah, okay. Maybe we can say, okay, Chauncey, you had a full roster. This is the best we've been. You got to take us over the top. There's no excuse. But he had the injury bug hit again. So next year, let's see what we can do with a healthy roster. And then let's make the judgment of what we should do as next for our next head coach. Also want to shout out Terry Stotts. Kind of miss him. At least we got to the playoffs with him. But yeah, as far as Chauncey, let's pump the brakes, guys. We're Rip City fans here. Let's give him another year and then make that assessment. But to help Chauncey next year, I think I sound like a broken record, Greg, but can we just get a new center? I think that's a good place to start. We need athleticism on the inside. I don't need Joel Embiid or, a Jokic type of center. I just need an athletic center who can block shots and rebound and play defense. Because the Blazers, our identity that's just who we are. We're all about guards when we score. Dame and CJ, even before Dame, it was Brandon Roy. Before that, it was Clyde Drexler. So Terry Porter. So it's all about the guard play in Rip City. So if we're going to have Dame and Ant on the team next year, which I
Shaden
assume we
Sharp,
will,
Shaden Sharp
and
as
Shaden
well.
Sharp, whew, that's a good point. So guards, that's going to be our offense. So how are we going to be able to stop guys with Dame and Ant? Because they're not going to be great defenders. So we need rim protection. And no offense, but Yusuf Nurkic is not a rim protector. He's too slow. He can't guard the pick and roll. And he ain't the Bosnian beast inside. He's just a slug inside. So I need someone inside that can block shots. I'm not saying we need JaVale McGee, but someone like that. Just, maybe better than that. But the skill set around JaVale McGee would be something that we should target. I don't know who's out there, what the free agent market looks like, but we need a center like that to me. And it's a bonus if you can shoot threes. So I'm starting with there. But to me, I think the key for next year is Chauncey has to unlock Ant. How is he going to play with Dame? It needs to be, Dame CJ 2.0. They need to unlock that within Ant. Because if Dame's going to have the ball, Ant got to be able to play off the ball. and hit catch and shoot threes, and not just, hey, I'm gonna take the ball every time, because we know he can dominate, scoring when Dame is out. But I need Chauncey to elevate that from Ant. So I'm looking at those two things from Chauncey going into next season, and the front office, of course. And maybe throw in another caveat. They should listen to you, what you've been saying about the Blazers for how many years, going back to college. But athletic wings don't hurt. Athletic wings that can shoot
I
threes.
like the Jeremy Grant. He was kind of
Yeah,
banged
but
up
he was
this year.
perfect. Yeah.
He was banged up, but I hope we can keep him and he'll stick around as well. So yeah, um, another year of
Another
disappointment
year
for the
disappointment.
Blazers. That's just how it goes up in Rip City, Matt, as we have come to know over the
Yep.
past going on 7 years now. So unfortunate, kind of our home team. But let's get to the Western Conference as a whole. So, we kind of alluded to it that it's still really close, but I'll just go the 7 through 12 teams because we'll just assume the 5 and 6, even if they are in the play-in, will still make the playoffs, right? So 7 through 10, we got Lakers, Pelicans, Timberwolves, Thunder, and then just outside the Mavs and the Jazz, half game and 1.5 games back, or sorry, 1 game and 1.5 games back, respectively. Who's in, Matt? Who are the two teams out? Because I was kind of hinting at the Dallas one earlier, but it's looking they need help. They're gonna need
Mm-hmm.
help now. One full game out with about what 3 or 4 games, I think, a piece left to go. So I don't know. They're on a 3 game losing streak at the worst possible time. The Kyrie Luca thing isn't working out. Of course, there's still the Thunder, who can't seem to make up their mind if they want to tank, if they want to get in the play in. I don't know which one they want to do. I think they're definitely good enough to get in, but I don't know. I don't know, Matt. What are you thinking? Who's out? Who's the two out?
Oh, geez. I'm looking at the streak for all these teams. Okay, the Lakers and Pelicans. Lakers on a 3-game winning streak. Pelicans on a two. So I'm gonna say they stay in. The rest of the teams all on multi-game losing streaks. So I don't feel confident about any of them. But I do think with the Timberwolves, Cat came back kind of at the perfect time, make that last push. I think they'll stay in. If they have Cat and Ant, even Mike Conley, underrated trade there, a veteran point guard. I think that kind of stabilizes the offense a little bit. And obviously they have Gobert. So I say the T Wolves get in. And then the last one, oh geez. I want to say the Thunder, but they just I don't know what they're doing. Like they just can't seem to get on a hot streak, or like just a 2-game win streak would seal it. But I don't know. They're still young to me. And I think it's hard for me to pick against Kyrie and Luca still. I still think they're going to get the 10 seed at this point. Because at any given night, I know Luca's, complaining about he's not having fun playing basketball, but still got to play the game. And we already know what kind of talent Luca is. We already know what kind of talent Kyrie is. Are they going to win the championship? No. Are they going to win a first round matchup? No. But I think they're still talented enough to get into the play-in with their offensive firepower and experience from Kyrie. He did win a championship. Everyone seems to kind of forget that sometimes, but I'm still gonna pick the experience of the Mavericks over the Thunder
Okay,
for the last spot.
I'll roll with you. I won't say experience though for my reasoning. I'm just gonna take a look at their last 3 games, right? So they each have 3 games left. The Thunder have are gonna play at Golden State, who is still fighting to stay in the play-in.
Yeah, that's
That's a
at
tough
home,
one.
so Golden State wins that one.
Exactly. That's a tough one. At Utah, okay, Utah, maybe they're out already by then. They don't want to risk hurting their key guys. Let's say that one is a win, but then they have to play Memphis, and I think, okay, Memphis might rest their guys, but I think even if they do, they have a pretty solid chance at winning that game. But, I'm it's kind of 50-50 for both of those games. So I think it's already one for sure loss, and I think they go 1-1 against Utah and Memphis.
So that's
So
1 and 2.
so I have them at 1-2, and then I'll take the flip side, right? Look, it's Dallas's schedule. So they're they have 3 straight home games to finish out the year, right? So that'll be in their benefit. Their losing streak, they lost, what is this, 4 out of their last 5 are on the road. So they finally get to come home. They're uh can kind of have some time to recuperate after their road trip. So they get Sacramento first. Obviously, already clinched. How much are they going to play their starters? We'll kind of have to see. Then they get Chicago and San Antonio. The worst case I see them going is 2-1, right? So I'll say maybe they go 2-1, and then it comes down to the tiebreaker. I'm not sure who out of those teams has a tiebreaker. Um, let's see if I can find it really fast. Uh, okay.
Yeah, the
Oh, this
head
is
to head is the
interesting.
key.
This is interesting, actually. Dallas does not have the tiebreaker. So the Thunder own the tiebreaker. Ooh, I don't know now.
Hmm.
I'm kind of
Hmm.
that's kind of a big deal. That's a big deal.
Okay, so
So essentially,
they gotta cover 2 games
they
with
have
3
to
to go.
yeah, yeah.
So they gotta win out. Yeah, they gotta win out, right?
No,
Oh
they don't
no,
have to win out. If they just need if they win out, then OKC can't lose, or they need OKC. Actually, they need OKC no matter what
to
to
lose
lose
two.
2 games, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, it's possible. Oh, I don't know. It's getting
Oh,
spicy for
okay.
Dallas. I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Maybe I'll
Ooh.
change my answer.
I don't know, man. Oh, that's
Ooh,
tough. I think
Golden
okay,
State. Wow,
OKC
yeah.
should win. They should make the play in unless they collapse. And
They're young. They
the
they could collapse
they
though. That's the
could, but
thing.
the only way I really see them like collapsing is if they like pull Shea for some reason. I don't know. I think they can win 2 out of the next 3. I really do. And it'll be the story of the offseason. Luka and Kyrie drama. I don't know, Matt. I'm kind of leaning OKC.
Okay, I'll change my
After the
answer. That
tiebreaker,
tiebreaker, yeah.
that's a big one. So, oof. Wow. All right. So we got the Thunder in and Kyrie and Luka out of the playoffs. Could be terrible for ratings, but I don't know. That might just end up being the case.
Nah,
So
you know what? We'll take Kyrie and Luca to be out for LeBron to be in.
okay, okay.
He's the ratings guy in
That's
the
true.
league, so
That's true. And we
I'm
haven't
sure the
seen
NBA will take that trade.
yeah, we haven't seen LeBron in the playoffs in a minute. So I'll take that. I'm with you there. Wow, that's crazy. But I mean, you never know. It could be a 3-0-0-3.
Watch them all. They're gonna go 0-3, 0-3.
Oh
I mean, these
man.
guys are on 2-game losing streak, 3-game losing streak. I don't
Mark
know.
Cuban is
Both of
gonna
them are just
lose.
reeling right now.
He's gonna lose his mind. I yeah. Okay. Well, that's enough Western Conference stuff. Let's get a little bit Eastern Conference in here. So already 5 playoff teams locked, and I think they are hands down the 5 best teams in the East. Easily, you could say Milwaukee, Boston, the Sixers, and then you got Cleveland and the Knicks. Both those teams pretty solid, I would say. Cleveland, I think, has the best defense in the league. Um, only allowing 107 points
Side.
a game. I mean, they got great defenders. So I like Cleveland's team. New York has just been gritty all year. Jalen Brunson really, really took
Dude, it's
over,
a
I think.
dog.
Yeah, I really like him in New York too. Um, he's a great fit for that team. So those 5 are locked. The 6 through 10, it's a little bit weaker in my eyes than the West 6 through 10. I still think Brooklyn will probably make the
The sixth
avoid the
seed.
play-in. Yeah. Probably get
Hmm.
the 6th seed. Then we got Miami, Atlanta, Toronto and the Bulls right now, 7 through 10. I still think Miami's the strongest one to come out of that. Hawks, Raptors, Bulls. To me, I it's kind of a toss up between those three. I mean, they're only one game apart each. I don't see a miracle run for Orlando. Unfortunately, I think Paulo will be forced to be reckoned with in the years to come. But sorry, Orlando. I think that might be it for you guys this year. I don't know. I can't. Can you really see any of these 7 through 10 teams making a run at any of the higher seeds? Because I personally can't. I don't know.
Not this year. I think maybe if the Heat somehow played the Bucks, that would probably be the only matchup. The Heat seem to play Milwaukee well, at least in recent years, but I don't think they're the same team as they were when they made the bubble run and even the team after that. So maybe they take a game over the Bucks if they match up the 1 through 8. But yeah, outside of that, could easily see sweeps in the first round for whoever comes out of the play-in with the
Yeah,
Bucks or the Celtics.
yeah.
They're the
Those
two best teams in the East.
I agree. Um, Philadelphia is always a scary one, but got to see Harden win in the playoffs. I got to see it to believe it, right? Um, yeah, that'll be an interesting one. Yeah,
That Cavs Knicks series though, that if that's the 4-5, whew, that's a
ooh,
pretty good one.
that's
I could see that going 7.
that's gonna be a tough, gritty first round series. Whoever comes out of that one is gonna come out limping into the
Just to
second
play the
round.
Bucks and play
Yeah,
Giannis, he's waiting.
yeah. Good luck with that one, man. All right. Um, it's enough basketball talk, I think. Let's get to some
Opening day.
baseball. Yeah.
Opening day in baseball.
So had Jaden on last week, kind of discussing what we're looking forward to the season. Games kicked off. Think we were down about 20 minutes for an average game. Could definitely I did watch opening day weekend, I guess you could say. And the Dodgers games, they felt pretty fast. I thought the pitch clock was going to be a little more annoying. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but I am still on the train that maybe a little bit longer. Like 5 seconds longer maybe. I don't know if that would, be too much though for the whole pitch clock purpose. Maybe even I could live with like 3 more seconds. Something weird like that. I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, but like just a little bit more, just because I'm thinking about the playoffs. Honestly,
Yeah.
like I'm thinking about the playoff energy and the playoff vibes. I do like the pace of the game now, though. It's like more consistent action, almost like the NBA, right? Where because the NBA there's action on every single play, every possession, right? Not as much football, but it's kind of reminding me a little bit more of that basketball pace now. It's kind of go okay, next one, all right, we're in the box already. Um, so yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I'm still leaning on let's add a little bit more time in there. Shift. I mean, we're already seeing averages are
Averages
up.
are up.
Averages are up after 1 week. No surprise there. But the biggest factor, and I think we both, and Jaden, we had talked about this. The stolen bases are gonna be crazy. We got the bigger bags with the pitch clock now. I think it's like something ridiculous. There's been like 40 stolen bases already across the
Hmm.
league. So, your boy Volpe is on. He's what, one steal a game right now. Uh,
He didn't steal today, so 3 out of 4 games he has a
okay,
stolen
3 out of
base.
4. I mean, still pretty crazy, right? Um, but yeah, it was a good opening weekend, Matt. I'll let you go first. Why don't you talk about your Yankees after about a weekend to the season?
All right, so we're recording on Monday, so 4 games into the season for my Yankees, a 3-1 record, so I'll take that. Not gonna overreact, for one weekend, but so far, I think so good. The biggest story was obviously Anthony Volpe, the new starting shortstop for the Yankees at 21, taking the job of the local boy, IKF, unfortunately. But I'm not a Hawaii fan, I'm a Yankee fan. And if Volpe is helping me win games, I love him. If IKF is the best guy, I love him. It's just that's who it is. And right now, Volpe is showing the flashes of why he was the top prospect in the Yankee farm system. You talked about it, the stolen base factor. The Yankees haven't had a like a true threat on the bases since maybe Brett Gardner, and even he didn't really run that much. Like we never had a stolen base guy like this. So to have that element to change the game, and he's already making that impact. The last game against the Giants, he stole third. Very next batter, Rizzo hits a sac fly. Just stealing that run is it's we don't have that luxury years ago, but now we have that with Volpe. His defense has been, for the most part, pretty good. He's making the routine plays. I think he had one slip up where he kind of lost his footing, but yeah, that kind of stuff happens. It's not like it was he bobbled the ball, made a bad throw. But I like what I'm seeing so far. The bat's gonna come. It was always That's just a thing with rookies. They're gonna struggle adjusting to major league pitching to start. But as the season goes on, I expect him to be much better and eventually get the power stroke. So Volpe off to a great start. Aaron Judge, his captain era began last week, and first at AB of the season, he goes yard. He's doing his thing. He looks locked in and loaded. Garrett Cole, same with him. Another opening day start for him. He was the Garrett Cole that I expect. But none of this matters. I need this in October, Garrett. But nonetheless, a good start. But a lot of, bright spots as well. That first series, Rob Marinaccio started off pretty well. I think he's going to have another great year in our bullpen. There's a lot of talk he might take over the closer role for Clay Holmes eventually, who's kind of, struggling a little bit. But Marinaccio has really developed into a strong bullpen piece for us with his fastball changeup combo. And hey, Johnny Brito, rookie starter, 5 shutout innings against the Giants. I'll take that, with the injuries to Rodon, Severino, Montas. We're going to need him. And if he's going to give us, I'm not going to say shutout innings every outing, but if he's going to give us quality starts, I can't ask for more than that. And he's off to a great start. Um, I got to talk about IKF. And I think this kind of transitions to Aaron Hicks as well. So IKF starting shortstop last year, had a rough season at the end, ends up losing his position to Volpe. So what does he do? He goes to Aaron Boone. They mutually agree to decide that he's going to be a utility player, but primarily an outfielder. And I got to say, he played Sunday in center field. He looked good. He looked confident tracking the balls, like didn't look like he was putting effort into it. Like everything looked effortless. And that's what you want to see, especially in the outfield, right? For the most part, can you track the balls? The arm, everybody's going to have a strong, weak arm. That you can't really help. But if you can track the ball, especially as IKF is known more of a speed guy, that's what I want to see. And I think a great start for him being willing to come off the bench. Unlike Mr. Aaron Hicks, who explained to the public today or yesterday that he's frustrated with his role. He wants to be an everyday player. Well, I don't know what he's smoking right now because he is nowhere near an everyday player. First off, you need to earn your playing time. You can't talk your playing time in. And maybe if you just try to hustle to start, maybe that can get you, a game every month. I'll say that. But Aaron Hicks, that's a loser's mentality. And the way that your statement came off, it wasn't about team. There was no like the team needs me to do this. It was a lot of I's. I need to do this. I want to do this. I want to play. There was nothing I want to help the team. No, that's selfish. So hello, Hal Steinbrenner, Brian Cashman, get on the phone, DFA this guy. That should be your final straw for a guy like that, who's not going to be a team player. That's the last thing you want in the locker room. Whereas you got a guy like IKF, he's coming across as a team player. It's hard. a guy who started last year loses his job, has to switch positions, but yet he's willing to do that and be a team player. I'm gonna give the role to IKF, and I think he's earned it, and he brings versatility to the team. Aaron Hicks, we got plenty of outfielders now. We got IKF as an outfielder. We don't need you. So I hope he's off the team in about a month because yeah, I don't need any of that negativity in my clubhouse. But 3-1, I'll take that for a good start. You know, we're the Yankees. We're gonna be fine if we're healthy. But yeah,
Also,
I'll
Glaber is
let
on a tear. I gotta
just
say
because he's
that.
on your fantasy team. He had a good game
Yep.
today. Reached 5 times against the Phillies. Anthony Rizzo homered. Nestor doing his thing today. So yeah, this is what I like to see from the Yankees. Stress-free games. Don't give me heart attacks in April, May, June. Just let me stress in October. But what about your Dodgers? Are
Yeah.
you
So
excited about the new guys?
so let's get to it. New guys, very excited. Actually, very excited. I talked about this at the beginning. I'm gonna talk about this guy first because I kind of had been mentioning him a little bit, in the preseason leading up to it last week on the pod with Jaden, talking Dodgers. James Outman, all right, this kid, big lefty bat. He's got some speed too. Rookie of the year candidate, I think for sure. Along we have two rookie of the year candidates actually, him and Miguel Vargas. But the reason I'm just excited about Outman is something about the young lefties, in the Dodgers organization recently that have just they come off like exploding onto the scene. I don't know what it is. We got Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, and I think James Outman is that next big lefty bat. I could see him, obviously we're still really early in the year, only 5 games in. But I could see him, really becoming an everyday player for this team. And as crowded as the outfield is, that's saying something, right? Obviously Mookie is gonna have his role whenever he wants every day, you know. But if Outman can kind of become another solid piece, I think that'd be a really good bat to have, especially with I'll bring in another guy. Unfortunately, not starting off so good, Max Muncy. I think it might be time. Okay, 5 games in.
Ooh, that's a quick hook.
I okay, yeah, sorry. I won't. I'm not saying he's gonna get benched or anything, but we need to reassess in another 15 games. I think 10 to 15 games. How is Max doing? He had a really tough game the other night, 5 strikeouts.
What is that?
Um,
That's not sombrero.
I don't
Sombrero
even
is
know what that is. It's not even the golden sombrero. That's
yeah.
like the titanium sombrero or something. I don't know what that is, but 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. He was not seeing the ball well. He was not swinging at pitches in the zone. I will say he came back, the next game, got his hit. Um, okay, it wasn't he didn't get on base as much, but he was making solid contact with the ball, which is what you want to see, right? Get out of a slump. We're only 5 games in. I'm not overreacting. But I could see a potential, Max drops to the 6 and maybe Outman goes up to that 4 spot. As the season goes on, that's something that wouldn't surprise me. Even if you put him at the 5, JD at the 4. But I don't know. I kind of like having that big lefty bat in the 4 spot especially with how we're kind of going right now, righty lefty, righty lefty. Um, let's get to some of these other guys. Freddie Freeman, just a pro hitter. Probably, I still think one of the best, if not the best,
Yeah,
just like overall hitter.
he's
You know,
good. He's
in
legit.
in baseball, he's hitting 420. Uh, on base 500. Will Smith, who has really been shocking me. We're only 5 games in. Okay,
That's my
yeah,
catcher.
you're a catcher. Uh, only 5 games in. Not going to overreact, but I do like his approach now in the 3 hole. He's kind of playing that has that Justin Turner kind of approach now. He's not trying to crush balls, I think, like he used to before, when he was in that 4 hole, really drive the ball. Now he's just trying to make good solid contact, getting timely base hits, RBI, chances when he has to. 3 for 4. Sorry, not 34. That's Freddie, but he's hitting 400 on the season. Like what I'm seeing from him, and then Miguel Vargas. Touch on him a little bit. You know, a lot of people were wondering, in the spring training, right? What are the Dodgers doing? They're sending up this kid. He's not swinging at all.
Hmm.
He's
I
literally
saw
just
the article.
up there to take pitches, right? So what is going on? You know, we come to find out, hey, the Dodgers are telling him, you know, go up there and go take a look at the pitches. But this is what is so impressive to me for a young guy like, you know, Miguel Vargas to do. And yeah, it's one thing. Okay, you're going up, your team's telling you not to swing, but how much are you really invested in every single pitch that you're seeing? Are you really tracking that ball all the way in every single time, every pitch, knowing you're not going to swing? You know, I think for him to do that as a young guy, uh, and it's paid off. He's leading the league in walks right now. He has 8 walks in
That's
5
insane.
games. 8 walks in 5 games. You know, he's really seeing the ball well and just kind of shows the maturity that he has for such a young guy to really have that focus in, you know, it's spring training, right? You're the next flashy guy and you don't even swing the bat, but yet you're taking in every single pitch that you see spring training, and that's something to me really impressive. um I like him at that second base spot. He can play shortstop if he has to, but I think in that second base spot, that's a perfect fit. I like him more than Muncy there. So yeah, off to a good start. And then obviously Trace Thompson, 3 home run game the other night. I mean,
They like threes in the Thompson family, I
they
guess.
do. Thompson for three, yeah. Let's obviously, like I tell you every single baseball season, I don't get too hyped up over April, May, June. Once we start getting to that July time, yeah, it's time to start. All right, how are we doing? Are we healthy? How are things going? Um, but yeah, it's all gonna come down to August and September and October and November at this rate, right? So yeah, I mean, I kind of like how things are going. Our pitching, it'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting one. We don't have the dominant rotation like we have had in the past several years, I would say. Obviously, no Walker Bueller. Dustin May, though, I think this is the Dustin May breakout year. So watch out, NL, because he's back from and fully healthy from that Tommy John surgery he had. His stuff is there. Um, he gets the control. I think that's a force to be reckoned with. He'll probably be a nice 1-2 with Julio come playoff time. So yeah, I like how this team is going. Still young, a lot of developing guys. Bullpen, it's gonna be up and down, I think, throughout the year. But I want to see if who our closer turns out to be. I think we've been using
Should be Evan Phillips or Gradwell, one of those two.
yeah, yeah. I still like Almonte, but it seems like he's gonna be kind of that middle reliever guy. So it is what it is. It's not gonna be Vesia the lefty. Um,
No.
yeah,
He blew the game the other day.
Evan Phillips, or it should be Groudon, like you said, it should be. But yeah, we'll see. Not too worried yet. Anyway, yeah, lots lots of exciting baseball to come. We're gonna take a break though after basketball, so that'll be off season time. Not gonna be super into baseball regular season, but we will still talk every once in a while. Um, yeah, well, so it was a good opening week. I think still riding MLB, still riding that World Baseball Classic momentum. Everyone wanted to see some of the new rule changes. I think the baseball excitement will start to die down, especially when it gets to the NBA playoffs, like it always does. So, um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But other than that, Matt, that was a good, nice little pod we had there. Why don't you bring us home with our sports fact?
All right, so we are recording on April 3rd. So we'll give a tribute to March Madness here. 2017, one of the NCAA championships. North Carolina defeated Gonzaga 71-65 behind Joel Berry. one of the legendary Tar Heel guards in the modern era, I would say, with his 22 points. So thank goodness Joe Barry saved us from a Gonzaga win. I don't want to see Gonzaga win ever. But that was the year, unfortunately, that North Carolina beat my Ducks in the Final Four. But they were a legit team that year. So a March Madness sports fact of the day, North Carolina. Congrats, Matt. This is for you, even though you don't even listen to our pod half the time.
All right. Sounds good, Matt. Thanks. And yeah, thank you everyone as usual for listening. Hope you have a good rest of the week. Be safe out there. And yeah, we will see you guys next week.